Get on my head. Get on my head. Get on my head. Get on my head. Get on my head.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the Versace Stoner. We're in another episode of VSW Reviews. Today, we went far. We went to In Good Health out in Brockton, Massachusetts, grabbing some different various vapes and different things. I love Brockton. They have a lot of great deals. Recently, like every month on the 13th is Slasher Day. Slasher Day, really good day. A lot of things really cheap. Eights were only like 10 and $13 this last Slasher Day. What else was there? There was the 0.5 CO2 concentrate full spectrums, only $5. And some edibles too. And there was other things, pre-rolls. They limit. Certain things get limited how many you could buy each in this. And they also do every month the pounds on the ounce, where they release like 5 or 6 ounces, different strains, and they're $60 until they sell out, allowing mass patients to get 2 at a time. And I believe rec to get 1. The 2 at a time have to be just 2 different strains, and the strains vary all the way down from like 16, 17% all the way up to 30%. So you get there early and you can get some really good strains for really, really cheap. But also their regular everyday prices, pretty good, I have to say. And this time we went out, we tried a new brand of vape that for me anyway is new, and it's by Crude Boys. We got it. It's called Fruity Pebbles OG. I've had it before. I've had it by Cresco back in the day. One of my favorite strains. Just really tasted like the cereal. Really uplifting, really happy, giggly. Well, let's give this one a try, though. I'm excited for it. We'll start it with the low setting. I'm actually going to crank it up a little bit. Not too very flavorful, I have to say. Not too flavorful at all. I'm waiting for the fruity part of the pebbles. Kind of tasting, honestly, kind of like bland. Let's try it again, though. Let's heat it up a little bit more. Sometimes it's just, the matter of the terps and such. But, when I did try it from Cresco, it really did taste exactly like the cereal, just really fruity. Really, really fruity pebbles taste. And you could almost even taste, and it could have just been me being high, but you could taste the milk that was in the cereal. It was like a little bit creamy. It was weird. Weird taste. And I also tried another Fruity Pebbles OG from Maine. Little bit not as good as the Cresco. The flavor was there, but it was a little bit more subtle, and you could taste you had a more oily taste in the mouth. But effect wise, it was pretty good. Not as good, though. Again, nothing's going to compare to that Cresco, though. Look, harsh, and still not much flavor. Effect wise, I am feeling a little of the effect. I'm trying to and I don't even remember. It was over years ago, so I don't really know the effects of the Fruity Pebble OG that I had from Cresco, but I do know that the flavors. I remember the flavors, the terps. I remember, that because it really struck me as something very, incredible. And then they had to shorten the name for Fruity Pebbles down to, just abbreviations. And I was like, what is this one? And oh, it's the Fruity Pebbles. And I'm like, oh, great. And I was buying maybe 1 or 2 carts every couple of days. I believe Ethos had it for a while in Watertown and a few of the other locations I was at. And I think I do. I remember buying them until they were gone. And when they didn't come back, I was like, I had to find another strain. But so far, this really isn't doing the strain any justices. Effects wise, I don't know. I'm feeling a little bit more. I don't know what. I mean, it is like a hybrid, so I'm not looking for the super sativa, but but I am feeling, like I said, a little bit more relaxed, a little cerebral high. I mean, there's a hybrid, a little bit lighter, a little bit lighter on my feet. In general, the effects are there. I'm gonna crank it up right to the top. Um, the effects are kind of there. I will say that as I've taken like what 2 or 3 hits, but again, that flavor is not. The flavor is not there. Interesting. Taking it like on the max heat, I feel like it was a little bit flavorful. It tastes a little bit of fruit, which should be opposite. Like the low hit should be really flavorful, and the heavy hit high shouldn't be. It should be more harsh but a bigger plume. Very strange. I'm not really if I'm sure I'm a fan of this brand. And as you can see, like, look, I've only done 3 or 4 hits off the 1 gram, and it's almost all the way. Well, no, it's like at almost at the halfway. I feel like, and I'm not even putting it that high. This is really just a regular 510 thread Robe pen. Robe is a great brand. Granted, these last hit, I'm gonna take one more super high, hot, heavy hit, but shouldn't be doing that fast. I don't know if there were chirps in there, and the chirps just kind of all went in 1 hit or two. I don't know. Kind of weird. We'll drop the temp back down because it is extra harsh, and I'm not really honestly picking up any more flavor. Ah, negative effect of this stuff. Let me see. I mean, I would say the negatives are the taste. It's not really delivering on that. It is harsh a little bit. It is crude oil, crude boys. You know, it is crude. But it does give me cotton mouth, and not a lot of strains have been doing that lately, but this one is. It's kind of making me dry. And that's going kind of with the dryness and the cough and kind of just harshness. It's missing that kind of, like I said, on the Cresco one, it was kind of creamy almost, just very light, flavorful, tasty smoke that was very potent. It was still up there 80%, but plus, but it was just, I don't know, their version was very creamy. This is not. This is very, again, I hate to say the word, but crude. Very crude. Taking several hits now though. The last one. Right. But I mean, again, it is a lot of mouth. I never bring water. I always forget. It's the one thing I forget. I do everything else, I get everything set up, I get everything all going, and then I forget the water. Every time. Not just like one time, but like every time. At least I don't forget the lead though. But yeah, so Crude Boys, pretty crude. I'm not liking it. I'll be honest, I'm a pretty positive guy when it comes to product. I'm a pretty positive guy when it comes to, if you've ever watched my wrestling podcasts and any of my other stuff I've done, I'm pretty positive about talking positive. I'm just not a fan of this Crude Boy. I have to say, it's not potent, really. I mean, I'm feeling some effect of it, but it's very kind of mild. I mean, what it should be compared. I mean, I've just done several hits. Um, and other brands have been more effective recently. I just did smoked did a review on Simply Herb, their strains, and they were very up there and being kind of happy. Some of the other vapes that we've done, in the Bass Cushy Punch, very very fun strain line, and very potent. um we've tried a bunch, and this probably, honestly, I have to say, is probably my least favorite line. um I'm just not liking it. I'm not liking its flavor. It's not tasting like Fruity Pebbles at all. It's tasting pretty bad, and it is just I said, just kind of mediocre in its effect. Not more I can say. I'm gonna do one more hit, like I said. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's not gonna get you high. It will, but is it a functioning or kind of coherent high? I don't know. I guess I'm not used to these effects. Or they don't really match the effects that are in whatever people say about it. And what I mean is, the relaxation and this and that. I don't really feel that. I don't feel the body relaxation. I don't feel the giggliness, the happiness. A little bit, more maybe energetic, perhaps a little bit uplifted, but not really in the way it describes. And then there is kind of like a little bit of fog and haze on the cerebral end. It's kind of foggy, but not really, one that's like, like creative spark, or make me want to like get up and go and make more content. Nothing like that. So, like I said, for me, these effects are very not very good. For everybody else, maybe they work, maybe they don't. I don't know. It is, like I said, very subjective. What works for you? Um, to me, I'm seeing more negative than positive on this particular card. And I say that because I said I had really really good results with Cresco's version of Fruity Pebbles OG, but this one's just not doing it. And the more I try it, the more I'm actually not liking it. But I mean, we tried it a bunch, and it goes fast too. It burns pretty fast, which is another negative. We're not using super high. We did do a couple of high heat hits, but most of them were on the green, the lower side, and it's still taking, it's still pulling. Um, so let's run through it, right? Because I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm giving this to Versace. Stoner thumbs down here on this. It's not gonna be really approved. And this is why. I mean, I'll say this: there's some good things about it, and then there's a lot of negative things. Good things about it is $20. It is very affordable. Price, yeah, in good health for a 1 gram vape. That's great. Some vapes for 1 gram are $100. Imagine that, crazy. But do you pay for what you get? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Sometimes do you, like I said, Simply Herb, not too expensive, but very very flavorful and very very effective. Um, its effects are there. You do have to smoke a lot of it. I mean, multiple hits, at least for myself, to really feel its effects. And its effects, it all depends on what you want. I'm feeling, like I said, more energy and kind of foggy head on a heady high. Not really much body relaxation, not too much anxiety relief. A little bit of, calming, but not really that kind of panic relief. I could still get into it. Not a great strain for having to do anything, technical, or some of these strains are great for doing creative work, or even like repetitive tasks kind of work. There's not so much where it is kind of a bandy heady high. It's weird because I usually like a good heady high, and I really do. But most of them that I do, most of the highs that are heady like that do come with that creative euphoria, that spark of like motivation. This doesn't really have that. It has energy, but it's really not going anywhere. So for me, I'm not really a fan of that. The taste, though, if we start talking again about the negatives, those are the positive. The price and the effects. It is effective if smoke. And if you have a lower tolerance, I'm sure it's going to work even more. The negatives on this, though, are, again, the dry mouth, being harsh and kind of rough tasting. The flavor is really not there. It's kind of flavorless with little hints of, fruit and flavors and such, but it's not really there and it's really, really slow. You got to kind of look and hunt for it. Um, and like I said, with the other negative, it does have effects, but it is also very, you have to use a lot of it to get those and kind of gain those effects. Where granted, I do have a high tolerance, but I've also had great results, using less of other brands. I can't say, it's the dispensary's fault or the, the strain, because I've had good results with the strain. I bought, pretty good stuff out of the dispensary. But this particular brand, Crude, Crude Boys, just not having it. Too crude, too crude. So again, 2 thumbs down. I do not recommend it. Even for the cheap thrill, it's really not worth it. There's other strains and other brands rather that you can throw a little bit more money on, but not much more, and come back with great results. Hate to say, again, hate to be negative about things, but not a good experience. But thank you everybody for watching. We're back. We always are, with some great reviews of some great products across New England. Have yourself a great night. Versace Stoner out.